Okay, so I saw this post that said, what album released in your teens would you classify as a game changer? So I'm taking this to mean like just a game changer for me and stuff like that. Like kind of opened my eyes to what music could possibly be, just albums that really kind of shaped me. So that's how I'm answering this question. And so the first album is Lorde's Pure Heroin album. I was just talking to my friends about Lorde recently, but I really enjoyed this album upon release. I got into her a little bit before Melodrama came out, but listening to this album, it just really blew me away at the time, and I still really love it. You know, Buzzcut Season is my favorite song on this album. I just think it's so cool. I love it sonically, the songwriting. I don't know, I just think there's a lot of food for thought with Buzzcut Season. I feel like that's underrated. And then, of course, this has the classics like Team and Royals Before 100 Lux is also a really good song. One of my favorites was the bonus track. It was an iTunes bonus track. It was No Better. That song was so good. And YT Teens was certainly really good. Bravado grew on me. I used to not like Bravado, but I just think songwriting-wise, Lorde was definitely ahead of her time because she wrote this album at what, like 16? She had the hits. It was just really great in terms of that perspective. Decent vocals, really good production. So yeah, this album was a turning point for me. Second one I would say for me is Taylor Swift's 1989 album. And I feel like I talk about this album almost every single week. I have a lot of albums I do that for. But I mean, for my teenage years, I would say that this was a pretty monumental album for me. I wasn't really an albums person like I am now back then. I had some albums and stuff that I listened to. Like, I was a big Justin Bieber fan. I mentioned that multiple times. But this was definitely my first Taylor Swift album. And yeah, she really got me with this one because this is where she went pop. And I've played this album front to back so many times I can't even tell you. I wore this album out. You had Blank Space, I Know Places, Welcome to New York was a great opener. Clean, I feel like, is a great closing track for the album. There was just so much good. Like, the production was really fresh. Decent vocals for her standards, songwriting strong. I mean, it was a really great album. I still love 1989. 1989 is definitely a pop Bible for me. I hold this album in very high regard, and when we're just talking about the best of the best in terms of pop music, then I always bring up 1989 in that conversation. I feel like a lot of these albums that you guys try to compare it to in terms of pop, they're just not even coming close. I'm sorry. Last one I'll probably say is SZA's Control album. I just really appreciate what SZA did for R&B, and I think a lot of people are trying to bite off SZA's sound to this day, but that alternative R&B and her confessional stylings in the, recording studio and stuff, and often just ad-libbing in the moment, I just think it's really unique what she's been able to do, and I think it's cool. Love Galore alt version was definitely better than the original, but stuff like Drew Barrymore, Prom has always been my favorite song on Control, and it's been getting more love. I've seen that in like the past year, but it still deserves more appreciation. I think that is an excellent song. Broken Clocks, Go Gina, Supermodel was a great opener for this record. 20 something, I mean, pretty strong. Like I said, Love Galore, alternate version was better, and I don't really go out for Doves in the Wind, but I like most of the stuff on this album, so I do think that sonically it was a breath of fresh air, and there's a reason why it's dominated for so long. I like SZA's vocals, and her songwriting, I feel like it really shines through on this album, so definitely a game changer for me, I would say. And like I said, SZA is at the top of contemporary R&B right now, and I feel like SOS really proved that. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comments on my list, and also let me know what your list would be. And so, yeah, I accidentally messed this up in the beginning because it said released in your teens, and I had the Beatles' White Album, and that was released before I was alive, so I had to switch it up and everything. But yeah, let's continue that conversation in the comments.